S&M.
Welcome, everybody, to the S&M podcast show where your subject matters. I'm your host, Ricky Romance, and today we have another special guest. His name is Dereck Reynolds. He is also the founder of the Hug a Dad Foundation. Welcome, everybody. Dereck Reynolds to the show. How you doing, Dereck?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you coming on. I really like what you're doing. So tell us, where you from? How did you get the idea? How did you start the Hug a Dad movement? Fill us in.
Well, I'm born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I lived there for the first 24, 25 years of my life, but I moved to Kansas. I got on the railroad. I started messing around. I started doing this Hug a Dad thing because, man, I got into a situation with a female. We were together and it didn't work out. So she started making it real difficult for me to see my son. And I was jumping through hoops to see him. You know, I was doing whatever I had to do. We left Kansas, we left Wichita and moved to Texas. And that's where we broke up at. So she came back to Wichita and she wasn't letting me know what was going on with my son. And I didn't know what he was at the time. You know, she was still pregnant and she wasn't answering my phone calls. So once he was finally born, I found out about 2 months later. And he was 2 months. And as soon as I found out about him, I was driving up from Texas to Kansas to see him. And I relocated to Kansas City so I can be closer to him. And we started going to court. And they told me that the only reason why I wasn't getting enough time with him was because I didn't live close. So I wound up moving back to Wichita, and it didn't get any better. So that's what made me start Hug a Dad, because they kept playing around, they kept doing things, they kept, just not respecting me as a father, just saying things that was disrespectful to me in court, like I'm not in the best interest of my own son. And it was just wild, man. I couldn't take it no more, and I just couldn't sit back and, just be one of them people that was just like, well, they make it difficult for me to see my son, and I'm just accepting it. I'm just talking about it to my friends, and I'm just mad. And when my son get older, I show him court paperwork and say, see, I told you I was trying. I didn't want to just do that. I always told myself I would do whatever I need to do to be in my kid's life. I do that. I go to that limit, and that's what I'm doing with Hug a Dad.
Wow. So how long has Hug a Dad been around for? Like, when did you start it? What year?
I just started it last year. I started working on it in the summertime of last year, like late summer. And I finally put it out. I finally started promoting it about October, November, like middle October, something like that. And ever since then, I've been just promoting it online. And I've been contacting people. I've been trying to, work with people, work with the community on the ground level. I don't know if you've seen, but I just posted a testimonial. And
I did see that. I did.
Yeah. That was special to me, man.
Yeah, I read that and I was like, wow. You're not only doing this because of what you went through. You're out there because there's a lot of people such as yourself, just like you, who may be going through the same thing. And we don't have enough people speaking up for dads who might be in similar situations. Dads that want to be around, that want to be a part of their kids' lives. That don't know how to go about it because the system is not doing what they need to do for them. Sometimes the system is not fair. A lot of people go through struggles and they wonder why. And like, why is this happening to me? Why am I going through this? Is there like resources that I can grab, go to? Anybody that specializes in this kind of stuff as far as like dad's rights. You know, we all as men, we have the right to be a father, right? I mean, we all have the right to pretty much be in our kids' lives, take care of them, love them, and just do pretty much all that we can do, right? We always try to do more for our kids than what was done for us when we was growing up, right? I mean, that's how I look at it.
Right. And you know, it's tough, like especially like kids that's born out of wedlock.
Right.
You know, a kid that's born out of wedlock, the father has no rights to any information, and you know, you don't get no type of information. Like when I say nothing, I mean the mom. You know, when the kid is born, the mom don't even have to let you know.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know, you could find out like, all right, so put it like this. Let's say you have a kid, you're not with the mom. The kid is born, you're not on the birth certificate. You ain't take no process in naming the kid. So she goes and files for state, you know, state benefits or whatever.
Right.
You're not gonna find out months later that every month, a couple hundred is racking up on your name. You find out about your kid in the mail with a bill that say you got to pay this. You know, you got to pay this. This is on you, and you ain't even know.
Right.
And for me, I know that that's how it goes because, like I said, I didn't find out about my son until he was 2 months old, and that's because I just kept calling. I would call her, I call her dad, I call her brother, I call anybody I could. I send messages. You know, I just kept calling. I called from different numbers. I just kept doing it until somebody said, "All right, let's just answer for this dude."
Right.
And he finally did. So that's how I found out about my son. And then while I was around for the first, after he was 2 months, I was around for like 2 more months, 3 more months. Let's see, I was around from April to like June, and he so during that time, she received the paperwork from the state, and the only reason why I didn't have to pay back child support was because me and her was on good terms. Like I wanted to see. I was just, you know, I was playing that nice role. I was playing that nice guy. I used to go to her dad's house for supervised visits. This was before court was involved, and I would just basically tuck my tail because me and her dad didn't get along. Me and her brother didn't get along, and I'm sitting in her father's house, and my son is only 2 months, so you gotta imagine he's sleeping most of the time.
Right.
My goal was just to be there so hopefully he'll remember me. Because I knew that there was going to be a time where it was going to get messy, and I figured if I be there from the beginning and I just feed him and you know chill with him and stuff like that, maybe he'll remember me, which is what he wound up doing. He remembered me when I got back with him, and I would just have to tuck my tail. I couldn't talk back like her dad would say wild stuff to me. You know, I couldn't talk back. I just had to suck it up. Like, do I want to see my son or do I want to defend my pride?
Right.
You know, it was like that, man. And
well, I mean, my hat's off to you, bro. I mean, because a lot of people won't. They're not built like that. You know, to take or to be treated like a certain way, like you ain't nothing from like you know, your baby mama's father, the family. You know, I mean, I commend you for that for pretty much just sticking it out, being a man, because that's first and foremost, that's who you was being. You was being a man because you had to, in order for you to be in your son's life, you know, and for him to get to know you.
Repeat this though. So like I was saying, when you know, it took me once me and my son's mom finally had a falling out, and I wasn't allowed to come to her father's house anymore. That's when I started with the court stuff. So that happened in June, Father's Day. That's when it all went left.
On Father's Day?
Yeah, on Father's Day.
Wow, of all days, right? Had to happen on that day. Like, damn.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was tough, and I'll tell you about that. But I just want to make this point real quick that from Father's Day until late September. That's when I was doing all the paperwork. I was, getting the DNA test because she tried to say, reference, you tried to infer that maybe he's not my son. So I didn't want to hear that anymore because I knew he was mine. So I didn't want to hear that anymore. So I said, we're going to do the DNA test and then we're going to go to court. Now, just imagine, I'm rushing it. I'm getting the quick DNA test. Like, I'm telling them, if y'all got extra time, like, put me in as fast as possible. Let's speed up this process.
Right.
Just imagine that it still took like 3-4 months to get all of that done. Imagine for people who the baby mom got to find you and, she don't know where you at, or maybe she's stalling the paperwork. It might be 6, 7 months, 8 months. Now you find out you got a kid. Now you like 15 in the hole. You ain't even know. So that needs to be changed. And I just wanted to make that point real quick because that's a bad start off. Now you find out you're 15 in the hole. You find out that you got a kid through the mail. That's tough right there.
So why do you think? Let me ask you that. So why does that happen?
Man, because I don't know, man. It's tough because so the woman, obviously the baby is inside of the woman's body. So if the woman is claiming that, oh, this guy, me and him always have arguments, or me and him don't get along, or, he stresses me out, then they're going to say, well, you're making it tough for her pregnancy, so they're not going to have you around. When the baby is born, she can be at the hospital. She could say, well, he's violent, or he's this, he's that. They're not going to let you at the hospital. And then now you got to go through the court proceedings and paperwork and all that stuff. And they won't, when you go to court, you can't say like, well, I've been trying to see my son, or I've been trying to see my daughter, and she ain't been allowing me. The court ain't going to look back on what she been doing the whole time and, and punish her for that, or, condemn her for that. But as the father, if you haven't been making the effort to see your kid or whatever, whatever you've been doing, they're going to condemn you for what you've been doing. But they're not going to condemn the mother for holding up paperwork or making it difficult for you and none of that. And it's just, I don't know, man. That's what I'm trying to figure out, why they do it.
So is that like, does that happen more for fathers who, like, for a man and a woman who aren't married, right? And they're boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever, you had like a one-night stand and then they become pregnant and she has the baby, you haven't seen her for a minute, or you broke up.
Or I was gonna say, or it could be you broke up. Like you could have been, like, sometimes people be married for years and then the first time they have a kid, like, they break up. And you know what I mean? Like, they could be broken up, they could be divorced before the kid get here or whatever. And that's when they get you. Because, all right, so picture this, right? So if when a baby is born, the dad is not around because the mom is not allowing it. So the baby is with the mother, and whoever the mother has around her, be it her mother, her aunt, her cousin, her family members, whatever it is. So she's leaving the child with these family members while she goes to work, runs errands, or whatever. They're helping her raise this child. Now, by the time you get to court as the father, by the time you get to the point where, you can ask for parenting time or whatever, it might be 5-6 months down the line or something. So now they could say, well, the child is used to these people. The child is used to the mother. The child is used to the grandma. We don't want to shock the child and, remove the child from its environment that it knows these people, and, it doesn't know you that well. So, that's what they use to keep you at bay. That's what they use to, it's part of the child's best interest. That's what they call it. And they use it to keep you at bay.
So how long was the process for you that you went through?
So like I said, Father's Day, Father's Day, I was living in Missouri. I came down to Wichita to see my son. I wanted to take pictures with him for Father's Day, for my first Father's Day. And she wouldn't let us do it on Father's Day because she claimed that she had plans. So I said, well, what that got to do with my son, And she said, well, I got plans. He had plans too. But what does my son have to do on Father's Day that doesn't involve me? I'm his dad. I don't understand that. So, I had to do it a different day. I had to do it the day before. And we at the photography studio, and she just blew up. She made some small stuff a big issue. I took him to the bathroom with me, and I just wanted a little time with him, without her around. So we sitting in the bathroom, I'm changing him, but I'm taking my time. I'm not really rushing. I'm playing around with him, changing him, but just BS or whatever.
Right.
Basically, I'm just happy to have him with her not standing over my shoulder. And she come in there, and I was using the bathroom, and she come in there after I changed him. I used the bathroom myself, and she like, why you didn't just bring him to me while you was using the bathroom? I'm like, because I didn't want to. I wanted to keep him in there with me. Like I wanted to chill with him for a minute, and that turned into a big argument. And then it was, give me my son, and I'm like, but he my son too. Oh, you don't know if he's your son. And then it's like, all right, there we go with that. Then the cops get called. And then the cop rolled up, and he like, yeah, man, you need to, because I was emotional. I was upset. He like, man, you need to relax. You're a big guy and you're getting emotional. People don't know what you're going to do. So I knew what that meant. I had to chill out. And they basically, just took her side, and, she bounced. And that's when I had to start my paperwork. And I didn't get everything together and get to see him until late September.
So that was from from June, right?
Yeah, from June to late September.
Okay. So 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months. And that was fast tracking it.
Yeah.
Fast track.
So you didn't see him not once?
No, not once. I didn't hear from him enough.
Wow. I mean, I can imagine how that must have felt that whole time, just thinking about what he's doing. Man, I can't even think about that, because I'm a dad myself. I have 3 boys, 11,
okay, that's what's up.
11, 9, and 6. Okay. They live with me, and I mean, it's crazy because they're boys and they want to wild out and act up and not listen. But I mean, it's part of being a kid. And then with this COVID thing, they got to be cooped up in the house, so they don't go out as much. They got to do school online, and everything's mostly at home. So it's kind of like, after a while, you're going to be, you're going to go crazy because, you want to go out, you want to hang with your friends, you want to do other things than being at home 24/7. But but back to your, for what you were saying, I mean, I can't even imagine not even seeing not one of them, for 3 months. Not even hearing about them.
Yeah. And then you wanting to see him too. You wanting to hear from him. You wanting to know what's up with him, and you wanting to spend time with him. And at that time, I was just training. I was training at my new job, so I was working a strict, 7 to 3 Monday through Friday. So I'm like, dang man, I got all this extra time, and I can't even see, I can't even chill with my kid.
So let me ask you this: like, why you think? Because you got women out there, right, that get mad, they get angry, like, they wish that their kid's father was in the picture, right? They ask themselves this question, like, I don't know why he don't come around. There's other. I wish that he was the type of person that would want to be in their kid's life. And then you have those, like, some women that, like, you wanted to be in your son's life, in your kid's life, but then she was kind of like hesitant, like pushing you away. It was like what? Who wouldn't want the father around? You know what I mean? Like, the dad, the mom. I mean, like, who wouldn't want the other parent involved in their child's life? I don't understand that.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. A lot of people say that it's because the female, the mother still wants the man. And I don't know, I have a tough time believing that because, I mean, some of the things that you do and say, like when you're in that courtroom, it get ugly in the courtroom.
Mm.
I just don't see how you can say that you want to be with this person after the things that you have to say. Like in the courtroom, they make you look like a terrible person, and it's like
Yeah.
over the smallest things too. Like it could be she complained, like my son's mom complained in court one time about how I dropped him off to her and he had on some dingy socks.
Wow, but he was clean though overall, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was just socks. Like, you know how you just wake up real quick. Like, she was rushing me, so I just grabbed a pair of socks. Like, but they wasn't dirty. It was, you know how white socks. You know how white socks don't always come out clean in the washing machine, right?
Right. Yeah, they got that
Yeah.
that little that off-white color. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, they still was clean, but they just look dingy. They come out the washing machine. Kids walk around outside and the stains in the socks. They was clean socks, but she just got mad and she brought that up in court.
Wow. And what the judge say about it? Like, did they even brush that? Did they side with her? Or?
See, what they do is they don't always like address the little petty stuff. Like, they'll bring up, I use that as an example. They'll bring up, she'll come to court with a list of petty stuff, and the judge, they won't really speak about that or not. But my whole thing, I don't know if you get punished for that, but what I say is I want the judge to tell her, like, you being petty for that. Because if a man bring up stuff like that, like if he say, I don't want her having my son or my daughter around another man, a judge gonna tell a father, like, yo, you being petty for that. So when they bring up petty stuff, just tell her, yo, you being petty for that. That's all I'm saying.
Right. So right now, let's fast forward to from the beginning up until now, right? So you had to go to court. So what happened? What transpired? Like, how many times did you have to go to court? And is it over and done with? You get to see your son now? How is it?
Yeah. Well, listen, this is the thing. I do get to see my son. I get to see my son every week. My thing about it is, this is my stand on it. I don't like how other family members can see my son more than they have more access to him than I do. So, like, my days are 1 week I get him Saturday to Tuesday, and on the off week I get him Sunday to Tuesday. So I feel like I should have him. I feel like we should do 50-50. Like, we should do the 3 and the 4. 1 week I have him 3, you have him 4, and then next week the opposite. Because I feel like he should be with both of us 50% of the time. I don't want him with people that I don't think are good influences on him. I don't feel like her family members, the men in her family are better influences than me. And I'm his dad, and he got brother and sister here. I feel like he should be over here. Why is he somewhere else? And then, like, my son knows a lot of, we try to cut down on the fast food. And my son comes over here and we be driving past fast food. He know every fast food restaurant. And I'm like, man, like, on these days, he eating, Taco Bell and all these places. He could be with me eating a better meal.
Right.
So then when he come over here, we try to give him, good food, and he don't want it. He want to eat junk food.
Because he's used to it.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't like the fact that, I have to adjust to how they raising them. They raising them basically, and I have to adjust to what they do. You know what I mean? Because he's over there more. He's with them more. So now, like, with his sleep schedule, you know what I mean? Like, I got other kids here. They younger than him, but we try to keep everybody on the best sleep schedule we can. But when he come here, he's on they got him on a wild schedule where he just fall asleep wherever he lay. And whatever time, you know, he just fell asleep. And
so
you know,
there's no routine, right?
Yeah, no routine at all. So, you know, when he come over here, we try to put him in a routine. We trying to potty train him. We trying to get him on a sleep regimen. We trying to get him to eat kind of, you know, somewhat decent.
Right.
And we can't do none of that. And then when you in court, they tell you that you're not in the best interest, you know, because you're gonna mess up his routine. I'm the one that's making his routine better.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when was the last time you went to court? Or like, are you due to go back to court to try to change some of the you know, as what they ruled, like change some of the rulings?
So listen, this is what happened, right? So I told you, I was living in Kansas City. I was living in Kansas City, Missouri. So on my very first visit, you know, what they ruled was I could have him in the hotel with me. I would come down here and I would rent a hotel. So I was, it's crazy because I was coming down, I was driving 3 hours, I was renting a hotel, and I wasn't even getting overnights with him. I could only get him for like 8 hours or whatever. And I would be working, like I was working on the railroad, and I would be working like 6 days. On my 6th day, I would drive down, I would have him for a couple hours, then I would take him back. Then the next day I have him for a couple hours, then I take him back. And but the very first time I showed up to the hotel, she met me there. So I'm about to take him in the hotel. She said, "What's your hotel room number?" So I said, "I'm not really trying to give you my hotel room number. I'm trying to keep everything out public because, you know, when we get behind closed doors, you like to say that I put my hands on you, and then you know, then it's like, oh well, we don't know, and you know, I don't want to leave nothing to chance. Let's keep everything public. So I'm gonna give you my room number." So she tried to take my son from me. And I'm like, no, call the cops then. Like, I mean, if you're gonna call the cops, call the cops. Cause she said she was gonna call the cops. So go ahead and call the cops. And when she seen that I didn't care about calling the cops because it wasn't in the court order, she called her family. So her mom, her dad, her brother
everybody showed up.
Everybody showed up.
Damn.
So I'm standing there, I'm holding my son's car seat because I'm focused on, you know, I'm not worried about these people. I'm focused on the police showing up so they could tell me that I can have my time with my son. And her mom walks up and start like dunking me in my head and stuff with her finger. Like, who the F are you? This, that, and the third. Da, 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 da. You better give the room number and stuff. Her dad talking about, you know, I lost my chance to see my son because I didn't want to give up the room number. So then her mom pulls out pepper spray and she pepper sprayed me.
What?
She maced me.
Serious?
Yeah, she maced me, man. So
but you didn't like, I mean, you didn't do nothing. You wasn't violent. You wasn't like being physical. None of that, right?
I was just standing there holding the car seat because like I said, I was focused on waiting for the cops to show up so the cops can look at the court order because I had my paperwork so they could say, well, it's not in the court order for him to give you his hotel room number, so we can't do nothing about that, and you have to let him see his son. That's what I was focused on. So all that, you know, extra rah-rah stuff, I wasn't worried about that. You know, and the whole time I'm thinking like, man, if she do wild out, then this will look real good for me in court. So the whole time, that's what I'm focused on. So her mom dunking me and all that stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, why you keep touching me? I'm just, you know, trying to play it off till the cops come. Then they pepper spray me. I'm trying to, I can't see. I know
how that feels.
I'm still trying to hold them. I'm trying to hold them to the car seat. It burned too, yo. It burned, man.
Oh, it burns hours afterwards too. Like you take a shower, right? And then it comes off and then it goes like on your chest or whatever, and then you start burning there too. And you're like, oh, damn, it came back.
So what I did was I was holding on to the car seat and they was trying to pull the car seat from me. And her brother came, yanked it out of my hand. They had already took my son and they put him in the car. Everybody jumped in their car and they left. So when the cops came afterwards. I wound up going to the hospital because I'm like, but I talked to my mom afterwards, and my mom and my grandma told me to go to the hospital, get all the paperwork, do all this and that, you know what I mean, get a paper trail, you know. So now I'm gassed up because I got all my paperwork. I'm thinking we're gonna go to court and I'm gonna smash this joint. Like, I had drove all the way down there. I didn't get to see my son at all. So on that Monday, I went to the county building, and I seen my lawyer, and I'm thinking like, man, like I'm about to smash, like this joint about to be over, like I'm about to be good. And my lawyer is the one that told me that I couldn't get, I didn't have the right to get no protective order or no type of nothing, because I filed against her mom. I pressed charges against her mom because I'm like, man, that's gonna look good for me too. So it took like a year and some change to get her mom in court. When we finally did go to court, only thing they gave her was some class, nothing else. And the whole time, like, I'm going to family court and I'm bringing it up, and her lawyer called it a one-off. Like, they never mentioned it. Like, nobody ever talked about it. We went to the mediator, and the mediator brushed it off. Even he was like, well, you know, one time, you know, my daughter gave us a call and me and my son had to go, and like he was siding with her. So I'm like, you're supposed to be a mediator. I didn't do nothing wrong. I was where I was supposed to be. The judge told me that I could have my son at this hotel on this day at this time. All I did was show up and try to have my son. And y'all violated me and took him from me and left, and nobody saying nothing about it. No.
Before the time was up, right?
Huh?
Before the time was up.
Yeah, nobody said, like, no judge, no lawyer, like it was just nothing. Nobody said nothing about it. And now the funny part about it is, so after the time ran out, that, you know, after she finished her class and all that stuff, now she shows up to the police station where I'm supposed to drop my son off at. She shows up every week. And then she filed the protection from stalking order against me. But you showing up to the police station. Yeah. But you showing up to the police station where I dropped my son off at.
So you drop him off at the police station, but who picks him up when you drop him off?
His mom, me and his mom do the swap. We show up, we go to the police station. And I told her that I didn't feel comfortable with her mom coming up there because
there's no reason for her to go over there.
Yeah, it ain't no reason for her to be up there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't feel comfortable with your mom coming up here. But she like, well, my mom can show up anywhere she want. My mom can show up anywhere she want. So to be funny, I was like, all right, so people could show up anywhere they want, right? So that means I could show up at your house, right? That means I could show up at your mom's house. I could show up, like if you at the park with Kai, I could show up and just chill with my son, right? So she ain't like that. At first she was like, yeah. She was like, yeah, you can show up, you can show up. So I was like, all right, bet, I'm about to follow y'all then. And once I said that, then they started calling the cops. But why she here then? I thought anybody could go anywhere, right?
So is that over with?
No, basically we went to court. She her mom filed the protection from stalking order against me. And my son's mom also got a protection from abuse order against me. We went to court, and the lawyer came over and asked me what I wanted to do, if I wanted to take it to trial and fight it, or if I just wanted to sign it and stay away from them. So I made it clear, like, all right, so if I sign this, I could still see my kid, but as long as I don't show up nowhere with them or be anywhere with them, then I'm cool. And they said, yeah. But let me tell you something about the protective orders. While I was in there, this dude was talking to the lawyer. The lawyer came over and told him that he violated the protective order that a girl had filed on him. So he showed the lawyer phone records. He showed the lawyer his phone records and said, listen, this woman was calling me. Only thing I did was call her back. And they said you violated the court order. You violated the order. The person who files cannot violate. Only you can violate. So if she's calling you, that don't mean you have the right to call her back. It probably means you don't even have the right to answer the phone, really. Because if you answer the phone and you say something that she can use against you, you still violated, right?
Wow. What if they call from a different number though, and you don't know and you pick up? Or what if they call from like an anonymous number? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I mean, I guess you would have
you don't
to be
want
in
to
that
find out.
Yeah, I don't. And it's crazy because with me afterwards, on Christmas, I had my son on Christmas. So my son's mom called me. She was at her mother's house. Her mother doesn't live too far from me. So she said, I'm on your side of town. If you want, we can meet at the gas station around the corner from your house and do the swap. No, I don't think so. We're not doing that because you can violate me for that. That's a court order violation right there. And the thing is, you telling the courts that you're afraid of me. So if you're so scared of me, why are you so willing to meet me any random place if you're so scared of me, right?
You should be doing what everybody else does, bro. Like everybody want to pull out their phones, right, and start recording. Like,
yeah, I do that, but see, this is the thing. I don't even feel like that matters because when I had the situation where I got pepper spray, right? This guy, he was a traveler for work. He don't even live in Kansas. He gave a statement to the police officers because he was standing right there for the
as a
whole
witness.
incident. Yeah, as a witness. He told the police officer that I was trying to see my son, that these people showed up, they was trying to get me to fight them, they was putting their hands on me, that they pepper sprayed me, and that they took him and left. This was his statement from a witness.
Wow.
And nobody said nothing.
That was used in court?
Huh?
Was that used in court?
Yeah. Yeah, nobody said nothing. It was like
it was dismissed. Like they didn't even use that witness as like pretty much to corroborate what actually happened on your side.
Nope. What happened was they tried this. We had the witness. I went up there. I talked to the detective. He showed me the witness statement. I signed it because I think I had to say that I agreed or something like that. I can't remember, but I had to sign something. I signed it, and we went to court. And she showed up with this like huge cane, like she walking and limping, like she just so and she's so hurt and she's so old and all this and that. She's so and yeah, they just took her in the back. They
playing the
talked to her.
victim.
Yeah, she played the victim. They came to me and they asked me what I wanted to happen. I told them that I wanted to press charges to the fullest extent, whatever it was. I didn't care if that meant jail time, then take her to jail. And they came back and they told me what they was gonna do, and it was like, man, it was just like that's what it is. Like,
wow. So that all that's still not resolved, right? That's how you still trying to see. That's how you meet up with your son at the police station to this day.
Yeah, we meet at the police station, but I feel like it's better for me too because when we meet at the police station, she can't just say anything. She can't just lie on me like that. Like I feel kind of better us meeting at the police station.
You feel safer, like
I feel like it's safer for me
that she ain't gonna try nothing, right?
Hopefully, but she even there we done had a few big blow ups at the police station.
Really?
Yeah. She tried to now this was kind of my fault, but I felt like she should have at least gave me a little bit of leverage. But I had showed up to pick up my son, but I was in a rush and I forgot my car seat. So she was like, "Oh, you ain't got the car seat," so she was trying to take him. And I'm like, hold up, chill. Let me, hold up. Let me, like, can I borrow yours or can I run and go get mine? So she like, no, she's just trying to take him. And she like, like, and that's it. I ain't gonna get to see my son for the whole weekend over a car seat. Wow. So I'm like, no, we're not doing that. I mean, I forgot the car seat, but we're not doing that. So she was just trying to take him. She tried to, get in my car and take him. So I'm standing there, and where I messed up is if they trying to take your kid away, you just gotta let him go. Because if you grab him, if you try to, get into any type of tussle with him,
yeah, he could probably get hurt in between that.
He could get hurt in between that, but even if he don't get hurt, then she gonna take you to court over that. And that's how I got my protective order filed against me. But she filed it 3 or 4 months after the situation happened.
So it didn't take 3 or 4 months. She filed it 3 or 4 months after.
She waited 3 or 4 months to file it. See, like, I'm seeing you every day. Like, all right, so me and you have a situation, and I see you every week, twice a week, for 3 or 4 months, and then out of nowhere, I get an order on my door.
So in your mind, you're thinking like, okay, everything's good, right? Since that incident, and you're moving forward. You're picking up your kid. Everything's good, right? And then all of a sudden, boom.
All of a sudden,
the protective order just slapped on you. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, but you willing to meet me anywhere? You willing to meet me random places? We've been meeting twice a week to pick him up for the past 3-4 months. Then out of nowhere, you file this, and I just felt like you started we could have came to an agreement. Like, I felt like if I was your brother, if I was anybody else, you would have gave me a car seat. But because you just waiting for me to slip up, and that's what it is, just waiting for me to slip up, and you could pounce on it, because then she could have took me to court and been like, well, he didn't see his son for this weekend.
So so right now, like, was that the latest incident? So now that the protective custody orders are in place, right? How has it been since then up until now?
Oh, it's been good, because I've learned, and this is what fathers need to learn, is that we need to check our reactions, our emotions. Like, with you got kids. So I'm sure that you feel like nobody else can tell you anything about your kids.
Right.
So imagine somebody else constantly trying to come in and tell you that you're wrong. You're not doing this right. You're not doing this right. You're not doing this right. You don't know what's best for your kids. I can't even tell you your kid's favorite color, but I could tell you what's best for your kids. So that stirs you up. Like that's like that make you walk around mad all the time.
That's the system, man.
Yeah, that's the system.
And it's not fair.
So when they get you like that, they get you all riled up, and they keep getting you riled up, and you go to court, and like you gotta watch your reactions, because everything is for a reaction. So they could be doing little sly stuff, and like that's like if I tell you, like, you don't even like, when the last time you seen your son? When the last time you seen your youngest son? And you like, what? You get hyped, like, I was just with my son. And you start to get emotional, because you like, who are you to tell me anything about what I'm doing? And that's when you start to become the angry man. That's when you start, you kind of violent. You get kind of mad kind of quick. Do you always do that? And then that's when you start to go. That's when you start to go downhill.
And so it all has to do with like controlling your anger, right? Like managing your anger and not like falling into what they want you to do, right? Because maybe they do it for a reason, just because they know they're gonna get that type of reaction out of you, so that's why they do it.
Yeah, like my mom told me, you got to know your enemy. You got to know what your enemy's doing. So you know that these people is trying to get a reaction out of you. Don't let them get the reaction, because they're not gonna do nothing. They're not gonna do nothing too crazy to you. They're gonna just do a little thing, and it might look like nothing, but it meant something to you. Like it's something to me, but it might seem like nothing to you. And for instance, like I want to be able to take my son to the barbershop, but my son's mom, you know, has been letting her brother cut my son's hair. And like for his first haircut, I didn't want him to get his hair cut when he was on his first birthday. I wanted to let his hair grow a little bit. And they
Yeah.
went ahead and cut his hair on his first birthday. And it made me mad because I wasn't there and I thought it was too early. And, you can't react to stuff like that. And I did, I reacted. And that almost got me in big trouble in the courts. Like I'm not with to put my hands on females, but I will, tell you how I feel, and I will, like I will get angry, but it's like you can't do none of that, man. Like you gotta stay chill at all times.
Yeah,
You
you got
gotta
to keep your composure, right?
you gotta keep your composure, and that's where we mess up at, because we get a little hype and a little mad, and then you know that's when it's all downhill from there. So one thing I would like to tell dads is you got to know how to control yourself, control your emotions, control your
Right.
anger, because they will do that stuff. They will get you there.
So right now, your hugger dad movement, your foundation. Um, what are some of the things that you're doing right now to help uh dads everywhere? Like
Well,
what is your latest event or um like tell me about like what have you done lately since you started it? Like what are some of the accomplishments that you've already um taken in so far with your Hug a Dad Foundation? Like tell me more about it.
well, I like to try to post content on my social media website
Uh-huh.
just to give dad advice, just to give fathers advice, and truthful content. Um, Also, I try to contact people. I try to contact people on the ground. I try to make myself available, just as with the testimonial. There was that was from a father who I just posted somewhere. I can't even remember where I posted that, but he just seen it and he contacted me and he asked me if I would be able to help him, like play mediator or something like that.
Mm.
So I just contacted the lady. I just contacted the woman, and I'm respectful, and I'm not gonna condemn the mother, come down on her, or try to be argumentative with her. I just want to talk to her and just try to get her to see that these kids need their fathers, man. It's very important.
Right.
And
So are you the only one that shows up and does that? Do you have like a support team that goes with you?
well, I started it. It's kind of like, let me tell you the truth, man. Like this Hug a Dad thing,
Mm-hmm.
it's just me, like with just raw emotion. Like I was just upset. I was trying to, I used to call my politicians, my local politicians, and see if we can get something done. I used to call like news stations and ask them like, will you do a story on this, or will you do a story about that? Or I used to just try to. I called the local radio station in my town, and I tried to get them to do a story, and they didn't want to do a story. And it was just like I was just feeling some type of way, and I just started writing, and the organization just came together like organically, like as I was writing, and I just was having these ideas, like my programs and stuff. Like I would just be sitting there thinking, like, dang, what I know. I have a friend named Ashley who works for a nonprofit that helps single mothers,
Mm.
get them resources. So I just started thinking, like, dang, what if I put together something where I go and talk to those single mothers and try to get them to allow me to talk to their kids' fathers, and maybe something can be worked out where they're not single mothers anymore. Maybe something can be worked out where they're not together, the parents aren't together, but the father's in the kid's life. Like
Right, right.
maybe we could do, like I think a lot of relationships end on like just small hiccups. So maybe this guy, he maybe he don't know how to treat a woman because nobody ever showed him. Maybe we could come in and talk to him and that could be fixed and now they can be together and now this kid has a full house. They got both parents in the home. Or maybe this
Right.
guy just needs some training how to work. He just needs
Some coaching.
some coaching.
Right.
It could be something small that we could fix. So that's how I came up with the idea for family repair. That's one of my programs.
So if you don't mind, I wanted to get into that latest testimony that you posted on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
That I read. If you don't mind pulling it up, I mean, are you able to pull it up and read it to the audience so they can hear it?
Yeah, I could pull it up.
Okay.
Let me see. So, okay, so this is from a mother named Caitlin. She said, "Hi, I just wanted to reach out and let you know that I may not have replied back to you, but I did reach out to Chad. He has a good relationship with his dad." I think she meant child as of now. "Been one of the longest periods I have seen him doing good. It's like my son and him are literally lifting each other up. I can see it. Thank you so much. I didn't realize what I was doing was not helping. I thought I was protecting my son. I thought I was protecting Chad from hurting him. I thought I could save us all the pain. But once I stepped back and let them do their thing, it was magic. They haven't seen each other because we live far away, but they talk every day. Thank you." And she put a heart emoji. "I know what you're doing is hard and you're doing an amazing thing. I support it. I'm sure you don't always have success, but I want you to know just your words made a difference. The fact that you made yourself available to make a difference like this is so very honorable. Good luck, and I hope you have more success like ours."
Wow, I think that was beautiful.
And I just want to say one thing about that. Like people like there's times like say you're looking for a coach. You need coaching. You need coaching for financial issues or for life issues or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you find a guy, you set up an appointment. You got an appointment 3 days away with this guy who's supposed to who you're going to talk to about coaching you. So you wait in 3 days, you thinking about it, you looking forward to it. Then you get there, he's talking to you, it's a good conversation. And then he says, "So for my services, these are my fees." Now you got to realize that now you like, what if you broke? What if you need to learn how to manage your money? You don't have money to pay for a class
Mm-hmm.
because so it's like I started thinking like if you charge for every service you provide, you're only going to do as much good as the community can afford. And
Right.
I would rather do good things than to be solely focused on how much money I'm making, because what I just read to you is something that's forever. like that's not like that's in the books, that's in the history books of that kid's life. That kid has his dad now. And
Right.
like that, like the gentleman, he has some history, he has some issues with I guess he had addiction issue, which I've had in the past also.
Mm.
And I think that when she said this is the longest he's been doing good, it's like they're lifting each other up. Like this guy has a real reason to stay sober now because of this kid. Now, because of the fact that he talked to this kid every day, he feels an obligation to go out and get a job, to go out and get a car, to go out and get a house, to stay sober, to save money, to, dress well, to be doing well, so that
Right.
he can show this kid. And now this kid can call his dad when he's having a tough day and, gain some confidence or, get some discipline, whatever he needs. And that's forever. If I buy a nice pair of Nikes or if I buy a Benz, that's cool. That'll last me a little while. But it's not life altering. And what
Right.
that sounds like is that's life altering, and that means a lot to me. So that's my passion. That's what drives me to help people, because I know if I'm going through it, I know there's somebody else going through it also.
I think that's great. You know, when you can go through trials and tribulations, right, and help other people because you've been there, you've done that, you know what it's like to go through the same thing that they're going through or something similar, and give your perspective, and you go out of your way to help those individuals without expecting some kind of fee, right, or for them to pay you. I mean, that says a lot about your character, even after the fact, um, despite everything that's happened, you know, with you, in the beginning, as far as that path that you had to take to see your son. And I just want to commend you for that. Um, you know, there's not a lot of men out there who would step up to the plate and want to take care of their kid, whether it be their son, their daughter. They just kind of like put them in the back burner and do what they have to do and not even want to look for them. You know, so with that being said, man, I just want to, you know, tip my hat off to you, and um, I really like what you're doing. Stick with it. Keep doing it. Um, keep in touch. Let me know what's going on. If you ever need anything, let me know. I can, you know, I'll help any way that I can when it comes to fathers' rights, and your Hug a Dad Foundation. Um, and yeah, you know, just
I
keep
just
doing what
want to
you're doing.
I just want to say this. Like, what I want to do with Hug That is, I want to just start having. I want to. Not only are we fighting for fathers' rights,
Uh-huh.
we want to bring legislative change. You know, we want to do all that stuff. Not only do we want to do that, but for fathers like you, who, you know, you live with your kids, you might not be going through nothing, but we still want you to be incorporated. So what we want
Mm-hmm.
to do, what I want to do is build a community. I want it to be a community of fathers. Like, you know, we might have a get together. We might have a daddy daughter dance. You know, we might have a talent show. We might have like a play date where, you know, you can come with your boys and do, you know, the potato sack jumping. I forgot what that thing is, what that game is called, but you know,
Right, right,
we
right.
we just have some activities, you know, things like for kids to do with their dad, to get out the house and do and have fun and learn and, you know, build that camaraderie. And then like with you, you know, as a father, you might, you know, meet another father. Y'all become resources for each other. Y'all can give each other advice, lean on each other for support.
Right.
Just you know, because we don't have those programs like that. Like, you know, we don't have all that stuff. So we need, if we're not gonna get that kind of support, we need to give it to each other. And that's what I want to do with Hug a Dad, man. I wanna make it so that, you know, we push all the deadbeats out. Like, we don't condone that. We don't
Right.
condone fathers not seeing their kids.
Right. So like the pretty much like build a found like Hug a Dad is pretty much building a support system, right?
Right.
For fathers who want to be in their kids' lives, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, but
Okay.
we want to influence. We want to
Mm-hmm.
influence fathers. We want to influence the culture.
Of course.
We want to show you, like, listen, this is where it's at. Being in your kid's life.
Right.
Imagine how you would feel if somebody went to court and fought for you. Imagine what you would do. Imagine how you would feel about this person. You know what I mean? And we need to tell fathers that just because it's difficult, that doesn't mean that doesn't give you the right to, you know, just fall back and let it go.
Right.
You know, you called that person here, so you owe a responsibility to that person, and you need to
Mm.
fight for it.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't even said it better. I mean, yeah,
So
being a
thank you,
father is
man.
hard, man. You know, being a father is hard in general. And then growing up, I'm from New York City, right? I grew up, born and raised in New York City. Um, I'm Puerto Rican, right? So I know
Okay.
minorities, right?
What part of New York you from?
from Manhattan, Lower East Side.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, we're both from the East Coast, so
Yeah.
Similar background, Philly, New York City.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so growing up there, I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff, single dads or dads that didn't want to be around. Me personally, my mother wasn't around, so it was like kind of the opposite for me. My dad was around. Yeah, he pretty much he struggled, but he did the best that he could. And without him, I probably wouldn't would have been striving to be the best dad that I am now, or try to be, with my boys. But yeah, so like usually people, they look at you, right? If you're a minority, they automatically think that you grew up in a broken home, right?
Yeah.
Or oh, for real, they look at you like, okay, you must be divorced, or the mother's not around, or you broke up, or you had a child, out of wedlock, and this and that. They come with all these assumptions, right? But they don't really know you. They don't really know where you come from, what you're doing, and that stereotype, it's got to stop.
Yeah.
I
and
mean,
that's what that is. That's what we trying to do. We're trying to make it change, man.
Right.
And I appreciate you for having me on your show, man. And you know, I just want us to do better as fathers. I want us to be allowed to do what we need to do for our children. Stop trying to tell us what we should be doing. The substantial change of circumstance law keeps us out of the picture, and we need legislative change. And we need to keep the conversation going. That's all.
Yeah. And hopefully with this recording, once I post it, this episode can be like an eye opener for those viewers, whoever's watching it, and they can spread the word, share the video, and get your Hug a Dad Foundation out there. I'm pretty sure there's like others similar to yours, that people don't know about. So once you tell the audience, tell everybody if they wanted to get in contact with you, where to go. If they wanted to, you have a website?
Oh yeah. So you can contact me on hugadad.com. Basically, if you know Hug a Dad, if you could remember that, you can pretty much get in contact with me. All you gotta do is type Hug a Dad or hugadad.com in Google. My website will come up, and my email is on there. If you go into the contact me link,
okay,
you can contact me straight to my email. But my email address is hugadad@gmail, and hugadad@gmail.com. You can contact me on LinkedIn. If you type in Hug a Dad, you find me. Same thing with Facebook. My Hug a Dad Facebook page and my personal Facebook page, Dereck Reynolds. I should be pretty accessible. It shouldn't be that hard to get in contact with me.
All right, for sure, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to actually come on my show. This is what I like to do, man. This is my passion too, outside of the family, outside of work, to bring people like you on here to spread the word and what they're about to other people who may not know about them or what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I started the podcast, is to spread the word of valued information that can help other people, that can make positive change, not negative change, but only positive change. So that's what I'm here. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not biased. I don't side with anybody. I'm
I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but when you said bias, that made me remember. I just want to say that with Hug a Dad, we're not dissing no mothers or nothing like that. Mm-hmm. We're not trying to talk bad about mothers as a whole.
Yeah, that was just your situation. It's not like every mother's or every woman acts that way, it's just what you've been through, and that's your story.
Yeah, right. Because I know plenty of mothers who want their kids to be with their dads, and it's not everybody. And I love my mother, my grandmother. I was raised by women. My dad wasn't there for me like that, So there's that, and plus I have a daughter, so I want my daughter to be, a great mother. So I'm not here to bash no women or nothing. I'm just trying to get at the system. That's all.
Right. Yeah, I feel you. All right. Well, everybody, Dereck Reynolds.
Thank you, man.
Go ahead and show support to the Hug a Dad Foundation. I appreciate you coming on the SNL podcast show, where your subject matters, and right here, this subject matters. Dad's rights matter. And making a positive change within the legislature, and pretty much for fathers, and helping them turn around pretty much to be somebody who can be looked at as a role model. And that's what I'm trying to support. Everybody has their own story. If you do want to get in contact with Dereck Reynolds, the contact information, his website will be posted down below at the end of this link. And feel free to contact him and ask him any questions to see if you can, if you want to help with the Hug a Dad Foundation, right? They're able to do that if they want to go ahead and contribute or volunteer.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, we do need volunteers, because you can go on my website and see that we have more programs. We only got into the family repair, but we have more programs, and we definitely will need volunteers, teachers, and all types of stuff. So yeah, look at the website.
Okay. All right. There you have it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the SNN podcast, where your subject matters. Dereck Reynolds, give it up.
Thank you.
The Dad Foundation, I appreciate you, and you will be in touch. You be safe. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe. SNN.
Can't wait, no time is a game, so I just put it on my way.